Yes. And then on the Women's Business Center site, they will start whenever it's 1 o'clock. I don't like the fact that it's so dark, but apparently I don't have much choice. It's not, but God bless your flexibility.
I don't need to press nothing. It's going to do a countdown, right?
It's a lip off. It's counting down right now. See, yes, it's 2 minutes and 17, 2:16, 2:15, 2:14, 2:13.
Okay. How does that work? That's what my email. Not my email. All right. I can't really see myself, but check out the quiz. Oh my God.
Oh.
Yeah. It's really bad.
Oh, see, that to me, that's really good. I like gray.
Yeah, my entire front part of my hair is pretty much gray.
Okay. So now remember, you're looking at the dot, a little something on your nose.
Oh.
I think you got it.
Okay.
But I'm here, and I can't look at you because really that's entirely too low for that. I could raise that, but now you have 1 minute, so really there's no time to fix it.
Okay.
But you can talk like you're talking to me even though you're looking at that.
Okay.
And it should start in just a minute.
I'm a tad bit nervous. It's okay, Lord.
You know this. So we're 23, 22, 21, 20. This is you sharing information that you know, helping people get information that they need. And since it wasn't really madly announced, it'll be a small group watching. And then everyone else will see the replays and you can respond. So 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Hi, everyone. Thank you all for tuning in. My name is Kristina Fuller, and I am the owner of Fuller Staffing LLC here in Richmond, Virginia. So today I wanted to talk to you all about what's going on in the workplace, COVID-19 response from an HR perspective, okay? So I know that you all are nervous and scared. You don't really know what to do. So don't worry. I'm here to help you, okay? And as always, my contact information, it will be at the end of this slideshow. If you have any questions or concerns, you have questions regarding your employees, how to lay someone off, how to be able to still continue your work ethics in the workplace, then make sure that you give me a call, okay? So let's go ahead and get started, all right? So let's talk about what the COVID-19 is, all right? And my slideshow should be going in 1 second. Hello!
We're just getting everything all lined up for you all. You can just click to the next one.
Okay, perfect.
It should be, it's down, not over, apparently.
Okay. And thank you. That was Shirley Crawford from the Women's Business Center. So shout out to them as well. Now, again, let's go ahead and dive in. Let's talk about what COVID-19 is, okay? Now, you may be saying, how does this apply to my business? Why does this matter? Let's talk about why it matters, okay? Well, first, before you can prepare your employees, prepare your business, or try to protect yourself and your employees, you need to know what you're protecting yourself against, right? You want to be informed, and you want to be able to inform your employees because, again, you may be nervous and scared, and so are they. So let's talk about what it is, okay? So the coronavirus disease, or better known as COVID-19, it is a respiratory illness that can spread from person to person, okay? Now, if you have a business that again is not online, right? Like so many of us have, and you're sharing different things, right? You're sharing a mouse, you're sharing a computer, you're sharing something as simple as a pen, right? This illness or this virus, it can be spread from person to person, okay? It can be spread by just sneezing or, someone not properly washing their hands and touching another individual. If they're carrying the virus or if they are a carrier of the virus, then again, you want to make sure that you're informing your employees of how this virus can be spread from one person to the other, okay? So the virus that causes COVID-19 is a novel coronavirus that was first identified during an investigation into an outbreak in Wuhan, China, okay? So again, if you all have questions about what COVID-19 is, where it came from, and what's going on, make sure that you visit the CDC's website and get informed, okay? All right. So let's talk about the Families First Coronavirus Response Act, okay? Now, let's talk about what it is. Let's talk about how it applies to your business and how it applies to your employees, okay? So the Families First Coronavirus Response Act, it features paid sick leave and emergency FMLA for employees, amongst other things, okay? Now, this is so important. Why? Because this new law went into effect on April 2nd, 2020. That's right. Not too long ago, right? So you want to make sure that you have informed your employees about this new response act, okay? I'm really, really big about making sure that you have all these things in your employee handbook, which is something that Fuller Staffing does for you if you need that. So you want to make sure that you have it as an insert because, again, this is new. And if you already have your handbook completed, you want to make sure that you kind of just slip that in there and make sure that they're informed. Make sure that this is also posted with your labor law posters, okay? That way your employees have full access to the information, okay? Now this act, it is specifically for businesses with up to 500 employees. Again, this is important as well. Why? Because it's, you would think it's almost similar to FMLA. Now traditional FMLA is for employers that have 50 plus employees, okay? But this Response Act, it is for your small businesses, it's for your medium-sized businesses, and I would consider anything almost over 150 employees is pretty large, okay? So it affects a lot of us. So it's important to know your eligibility for your employees, okay? So again, employee eligibility. Employees who have worked for their employer for at least 30 calendar days, okay? Now, a lot of you will be saying, wait a minute, this employee is literally in their probationary period, right? So a lot of us will have a probationary period for at least 60 to 90 days. And for an employee that has only been working with you for 30 days, they're pretty new, right? Absolutely, but this still applies to them, okay? So they're able to benefit from this Response Act as well. Now, who does this apply to? Again, it applies to employers with up to 500 employees, okay? So you need to remember that because if your employee has to take advantage of this benefit, you need to know whether you need to offer this as well, okay? So the basis and amount of leave, okay? So for their family, they get up to 12 weeks and 10 of them paid. family leave for school and childcare related COVID-19 absences if an employee cannot work, okay? So in the event that an employee has been diagnosed with coronavirus, their children, or that they are unable to provide childcare because of the coronavirus, then yes, this could apply to them, okay? But this does not include telework. So if they're able to work from home or do any of those things, then they no longer are able to be eligible for this benefit, okay? Sick leave, 80 hours of paid, COVID-19 related sick pay if an employee has been told to quarantine. Now, this is really, really important because a lot of people are self-quarantining, okay? Which is amazing. It's great. That means you're taking the situation extremely seriously. However, self-quarantine is kind of like a self-diagnosis, okay? So if you sneezed on me, you coughed on me, or anything like that, I may say, you know what? Give me 50 feet and I'm going to wait a minute before I go into any other type of contact with another individual. However, a government official nor a doctor has advised me to do so. So I'm basically doing that on my own, which is amazing. It's fine. But again, in order to receive this benefit, you have to have some type of doctor's note. You have to have something that is proven, okay, that you have contracted the disease, okay, in order to receive this benefit. All right. So again, let's talk about what it is not for. Now, I've already stated this, but let's dig a little bit deeper, okay? So again, it's not for self-quarantine. Now, we've talked about ourselves, but what if I have a family member who is sick, right? So I have a distant cousin that kind of got sick. I went to go visit them for maybe 10 minutes, and I decided that I'm going to stay home. Guess what? This Response Act is not for them. Self-quarantine is just something that you want to do yourself, okay? However, if this individual has not been diagnosed by a doctor or advised to stay home by a physician or by a government official, then again, they do not benefit from this, okay? Ooh. Sorry about that, guys. All right, so let's talk about the pros of the Family First Corona Response Act, okay? So the great thing about this is that it provides immediate relief for your employees, okay? I am really, really big on talking to employers about how an employee is their greatest asset, okay? Why? How do you expect to keep running if you don't have your employees? If they're not able to work at their best, if they're not able to be 100%, how do you expect them to give you and your business 100%? They can't, right? So if they're worried, if they're nervous about different things, the great thing about this Response Act is that it provides immediate relief for employees. It just takes the worry off of them, okay? It also allows the U.S. Department of Labor to issue regulations that exempt small employers, okay? And small employers, again, for this is with less than 50 employees to apply paid sick days, okay? Now, let's talk about the cons, okay? So the bad side about this is, unfortunately, there could be financial issues for businesses who can't afford to pay, okay? And a lot of them are your small businesses, your brick and mortars. Why? Because, a lot of times we don't have a lot of employees, okay? So if we lose the one or two employees that we do have, it could pose a financial strain on our businesses, right? So that's the downside of this, okay? However, it also excludes employers of healthcare employees or emergency responders to exclude such employees from coverage, which I think is a horrible thing. It's a downside to this Response Act because, again, a lot of these businesses or employees are the ones that are on the front lines, right? They're having a lot of contact with individuals that have been diagnosed with COVID-19 or unfortunately, they are essential employees, okay? So that's the downside of this Response Act. All right, so there have been some amendments to the Family Medical Leave Act, also known as FMLA, okay? So let's go ahead and talk a little bit about that. So when is this leave allowed? Okay, through the end of 2020. All right, that's right, the end of the year. Okay, so make sure that you note that because you want to make sure that your employees are able to take advantage of the FMLA leave and you want to know or be aware that you have full knowledge of this amendment, okay? So, is this leave paid? So, the first 14 days of FMLA leave for COVID-19 may be unpaid, okay? So, an employee may choose to substitute available paid leave during those 14 days, okay? So, if an employee has some personal leave, they're able to use that to be able to supplement their income while they're out, okay? So, employee status. So, just like traditional FMLA leave, where they have the right to come back to their position, their status, their pay, or of equal position, status, and pay, okay, the same goes for the amendment, okay? So you want to make sure that you are aware of that as well, okay? So the only exception to this is employers with less than 25 employees, okay? May be exempted if the employee's position does not exist anymore because of public health emergency. All right, so let's talk a little bit about that. So if you've decided to do away with the position due to, let's say, it poses a public hazard, health hazard, okay, then there may be a difference in status or in pay because you no longer offer that position anymore, okay? So that would be the exemption, okay? All right, so I put together a couple of frequently asked questions that I thought that you all would love to know the answers to. So let's dive into these right quick, okay? So can an employee stay home under FMLA leave to avoid getting COVID-19? All right, so let's talk about, how to establish your employee status first, okay? Because if you have the conversation, if you have the paperwork ready for your employees during onboarding, okay, this way they will know whether they are an essential employee, okay? When there's an emergency, if something is going on, they will automatically know whether they have to go to work or not. But let's talk about why they're on FMLA leave, okay? Or can they use that? So no, they can't use that if they've self-quarantined, they do not have anything from a government official or from a doctor stating that they need to stay home, okay? Can an employer terminate someone for showing symptoms or having the virus? Okay, absolutely not. Okay, that's just an automatic no. All right, I understand that everyone is panicking, everyone's nervous, and that's absolutely fine. But just because Jane may be coughing or John is, he was diagnosed with COVID-19, that does not give you the right to say, you know what? We've decided that you are no longer going to work here with us any longer, okay? So please don't do that, guys. Number 3, if you or someone you know is being racially profiled in the workplace due to the coronavirus, how should an employer handle this situation? Under no circumstances should you allow anyone to racially profile another employee in the workplace. Why? The workplace should be safe. The workplace should feel basically kind of like home, right? You should be able to do your work free from any harassment, okay? And in the event that an employee is stating that they are being harassed, you need to take that seriously as an employer, okay? And you need to terminate any individuals that are doing so, okay? If you need assistance with terminating employees, if you need assistance with how to investigate problems, complaints, and comments, make sure that you give me a call. Again, my contact information will be at the end of this video, okay? So also, number 4, I can't afford to keep my employees. How do I implement an employee furlough, okay? This is really, really important. Why? Because again, your employees are your greatest asset, so you want to make sure that you're treating them as such. Give them the respect that they deserve, okay? In the event that you have to furlough an employee, you have to lay them off, have a conversation with them. They know what's going on in the world. They see everything that's going on. Have enough respect for them to say, you know what? This is what's going on in the business. I can no longer continue your position at this moment, and unfortunately, we'll have to lay you off, okay? But make sure that you're being sincere and make sure that you're, receiving any type of feedback from your employee because, again, this may be hard for you, but this could also be detrimental for them. They're losing their income for right now, right? They're losing their job in a place that they've been coming to day after day, okay? Also, make sure that you're sending out letters to them, okay? So when someone resigns, when someone terminates, when someone is being laid off, I always send them a courtesy letter, okay? This has in there their name, their date, their name, the date, any information that's pertinent for them to be able to go and get unemployment, okay? Because they may need to take this letter with them in the event that they need to apply for unemployment. Make sure that you tell them their options, okay? So if you are providing COBRA, which is an additional health benefits for them, make sure that that is included, and make sure that you leave any information in regards to helping them to apply for unemployment, okay? All right, so how to keep your employees safe. All right, so this is important as well, especially for my businesses that are essential, okay? Because again, you all are still up and running daily tasks as if you were doing before the COVID-19, okay? So one thing that I've seen some businesses do, they are taking daily temperature checks before entering the workplace, okay? A lot of times this is more of like your hospitals, okay? Now, with this, you have to make sure that you are keeping this information very confidential, okay? Now, if Tia is running a slight fever, you do not want to tell everyone in the office, listen, I think Tia has the COVID-19, her temperature has skyrocketed. You don't want to cause a panic, and you also want to make sure that you are keeping their information confidential. If you feel that something has spiked, you want to make sure that you tell that individual that, listen, there has been a change in your temperature. You may need to seek further attention, okay? So make sure that you're keeping a log and make sure that it's fair across the board. You can't just do temperature checks for your CNAs and not for everyone else, okay? So you want to make sure that you're doing this across the board. Second, be consistent with cleaning your surfaces or items that are consistently being used by different employees, okay? So again, your ink pens, your computers, anything that different employees touch, you want to make sure that you're sanitizing these things, okay? Because again, the virus can live on different surfaces for an amount of time, and you just want to make sure that you're taking all the precautions to make sure that your employees are being safe, okay? Encourage your employees to stay home if they're feeling sick. Listen, I know it may be really, really hard, especially as a small business, when your employees are calling out sick. But right now, you want to make sure that they are at their best, and you want to make sure that they're not coming in infecting everyone else, right? Just so that you can get some work done, right? So if someone is feeling ill, encourage them to, stay at home for today or take a couple of days off and give us a call when you are feeling better. Again, this is not the time for someone to take a vacation. So normally it would be 1 day or 2 days. Anything over 3 days should definitely require a doctor's note, okay? But again, make sure that that is in your handbook. Number 4, provide visuals and techniques to your employees, such as hand washing. You'd be amazed how many people do not know how to properly wash their hands, okay? Sanitizer is amazing, but there's nothing like that good old soap and water, right? Absolutely. So make sure that you're providing some type of visual for them, right? Send them a virtual seminar, right? Social distancing is extremely new for us. We have never done this before, right? So providing them with information about what social distancing is, how many feet you should be apart. You can also talk about why it's important to social distance in the workplace, okay? So make sure that you are doing that as well. And these are just some great tips for you to keep in mind and great tips for you to share with your employees. I believe that they would be thoroughly pleased that you have decided to share this information with them, okay? All right, guys, that is it for me today. I am so grateful that you all have decided to join this seminar today. If you have any questions, if you have any concerns about anything, feel free to send me a message via email. Make sure that you give me a call if you have any questions, okay? Don't just sit around and, have all these questions or concerns and don't ask anyone, right? If I can help you, which I know I can, give me a call, okay? You can also visit our website at www.fullerstaffing.org, okay? You're also able to visit me on Facebook, Fuller Staffing, or on Instagram, Fuller_staffing_LLC. You all have been amazing, and have a great day.
Ask one more time if you have any questions.
Okay. Before I leave, does anyone have any questions?
There's a slight delay. That's why I just
okay.
Double check and ask. Okay. You can say goodbye. It still hasn't caught up with you yet, and they can hear me talking.
Oh.
And you'll take my mouse.
I can't see any of that.
Okay. Clearly, I have to come over there. It's still on the screen. I need to get it off.
Okay. Yeah, none of that down there. I don't see it. Sorry. I'll swap with you.
Hope you all enjoyed all that presentation and information. We're signing off now, and we'll see you next week with another free seminar here at the Women's Business Center to keep you sane, safe, sound, and very informed. All right, till next time. Bye-bye.